Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Blonde Intelligence with me, Miss Ronnie, where I always seek to give you exquisite cranial repertoire. This week, we have a very special guest. We have the band Intercontinental. Say hello to everyone.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for having us, Miss Ronnie.
We're going to start off with letting you tell everyone a little bit about yourselves.
Yeah, so I guess I'll go first. My name is Matt Smith, and I play in the band Toast with Emily, who's also on the call. And we've been a band for a few years now. The other bandmates are Jamie Miller, Ben Gaither, and Becca Dreyer, who's a guest vocalist. And we're just trying to figure out a way to continue collaborating and playing music once the pandemic hit. So that's kind of how things progressed. And I'll let Emily speak real quick before we get into the history of the band. But
Yeah, no, sure. Hi. Thank you again, Miss Ronnie, for having us. It's so great to be here and to be able to talk about this project. We're very excited about it. My name's Emily Betts, and I did vocals on several of the tracks and also sing primarily in the band Toast that I'm in with the folks that Matt mentioned.
Yeah, it was around.
What does every artist need? Press, 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 and more press. Music reviews, interviews, blog articles, press releases, the Blonde Intelligence video show, the Blonde Intelligence podcast, the Blonde Intelligence blog, Blonde Intelligence music reviews. Available on Pandora, Amazon Music, Apple, YouTube, and more. Social media blasts, build your EPK, expand your fan base, links to your press. For more information, visit blonde-intelligence.com.
In August, we started to learn a bit more about BandLab and the potential with this application. So it's a worldwide app, and there's musicians just all over that are contributing song ideas. And what's great about it is you can actually make a song public or make it forkable. So like anybody else can add to a song or song idea. So we made a decision. Well, we have some fragments of songs. Let's see what happens. We'll just push it up into the ether and see what happens. So the first one was a guitar idea I had called Aslan that I published. I made it forkable, and within a couple days we had numerous vocal submissions, just people that we have never met before.
So is that how y'all did, or how the band came together, or were y'all already a band before y'all got on this app?
So yeah, we were already a band, like the local band Toast in Columbia, Maryland. Okay. But it just kind of eventually grew and expanded into 22 members on the first record, because of this organic process, right? Like Gustavo sang a song, and then we were very excited about this. We're like, oh, this is incredible! Like musicians we've never met before that are fantastic, and bring a whole new element to it. So,
well, Emily, what do you think about the chemistry of the people that y'all met?
It's been being this band within a band has been very cool. We just we were really looking for a way to be able to continue to bring the joy that music bring, and the sitting in our basements and jamming together and writing songs and all of those things that we normally did within the few of us who live here locally, to be able to do that and do that safely. And this album, this project, this Intercontinental project, really combined two things that mean a lot to me, which are sort of the intercultural aspect of it, being able to connect with others around the world from different cultures, with, really nothing in common in our day-to-day lives, and find this common ground. And of course, sorry?
The music is what's in common.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so just fascinating to see how how people's minds work, and see they hear a riff and see what they do with it, and see the lyrics that are coming out of other people's brains that they're going to put to it and see what comes, put in an idea that you have or feelings or lyrics that you have, and then see kind of what comes out the other end after everyone has added on. And it made some of the songs, I mean, Fire which is the first track on this album, was we worked on in my basement. Several, I normally am I tend to be more the lyrics and melody person. So that was my initial contribution there to the beginning of it, as we were sitting in the basement here working on it. And then to have that become a part of this album and see how many, all of a sudden you have violin and you have drums and all this cool stuff. It just turned into something that was much greater than the sum of its parts, if you know what I mean. It was really magic to see that happen.
Okay, so all the original band members, all of y'all based locally out of, did you say Maryland?
Yeah, Columbia, Maryland. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
only the 5 of us, right? The Toast original members, and then everyone else from all over the globe.
Yeah. And just to kind of add on to the history there. So once we got those first 2 songs, and we started getting collaborators from Australia and South America. I just remember walking around outside my house in August, and this idea just popped in my head, like, oh, what if are you familiar with the Foo Fighters album Sonic Highways, where they recorded music like all over the US? It was like different cities. It's a really cool concept, and I was just thinking, well, we're like accidentally doing this. We're not even trying, and we just happen to be getting these amazing musicians all over the world. So what if we just keep going with this theme and try to get all 7 continents? So,
that's my name.
Yeah. So we called it Intercontinental, put the 7 in there to make it a little difficult to pronounce. But we used the app to seek out people by location, which is one of the other really cool things about it. I like to call it like a Match.com for musicians, which I'm kind of dating myself. But you can search people's profiles, and you can say, I'm looking for a guy that plays saxophone who lives in Africa and
enjoys long walks on the beach.
So that's really how a lot of it came that way, where I was like, well, can we find somebody in Asia that maybe would be a good fit for the project? So we ended up with a guy that goes by the name TNBT. I don't know his real name. He plays drums in Japan, and he plays on the song Astray that Emily sings on, and then also on Manor Hill, which is the song that has all 7 continents on. And then for Antarctica, that one I didn't think you were gonna. I thought that was impossible, but I figured, well, let's just. Yeah, I was like, well, let's just give it a shot. So I went on Wikipedia. I think I looked up every single research station, and I found their contacts. I sent them emails. I said, this is a project we're doing. Is there a researcher who happens to be stationed there that has an instrument and is interested in doing this project? And we found 2 people. Amar, who plays classical guitar, an incredible musician, and then Stein Thulin, I'm probably mispronouncing his name. He does percussion. So it's just so amazing to me to make these relationships virtually initially, and then you just build a relationship with them, not just on a musical in a musical sense, but you start to learn about them outside of that. And it's just been really exciting to see it develop.
Okay. So, what are your plans for this particular project once the COVID restrictions are lifted? Because it's looking like, from what I saw on the news yesterday, we should have a sense of normalcy by July the 4th. So,
wow, yeah.
Began the project, it was probably began with almost in the dark. I have it in my mind, but we don't know what the future gonna hold. And now it's like can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So what are your plans, or did the plans even change, or with the restrictions lifted, did you get a chance to decide to explore other avenues now? I mean, so restrictions,
Yeah.
right? What are the goals now?
Yeah, so I guess I'll go first from my perspective, and then Emily can chime in. But for me, this Intercontinental project was just a happy accident that I think has surpassed everybody's expectations. So I certainly am dedicated to working on a second volume.
Like so many other things, I mean, obviously the pandemic presented a lot of challenges, not to mention many tragedies, but I think it also created some opportunities and showed people different ways that things could be done. So I think that this is really no different. I mean, we're obviously going to be very excited to get back together and be able to, play gigs again, and to be able to play together and jam in our basements and backyards and all that again. But I hope, it's we're already seeing the interest in the project growing. And the cool thing about BandLab as a platform is that doesn't have to change what we're already doing. So we'll just find some sort of hybrid. We'll still be able to do the things that we're doing as a local band, but that doesn't change the viability of Intercontinental as a project.
Have you thought about getting BandLab as a sponsor for you?
So great question, Ms. Ronnie. We actually reached out to them.
Hi, this is Marlette with Classic Glam by Marlette, where classic never goes out of style. We're based here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, but you can reach us on our website at classicglamgirl.com or Facebook and Instagram at Classic Glam by Marlette.
And they did an entire feature on the band. So it's actually on the website. If for anyone that's listening, if you go to the About portion of the site, as well as the press section, there's a link to the feature. So it has an in-depth interview, lots of pictures and videos and stuff. So it really dives into the history of the project. And yeah, BandLab, actually, they were generous enough to feature our album for about a month. So the song Fire that Emily had referenced, which is the first track on the album, that has 38,000 views, or plays, I should say. So it's just, great to have that exposure. And, we're just so grateful to BandLab, obviously for their support on the album, but just for the fact that they exist and that we were able to do this to begin with. So, yeah.
So, Emily, are you like the lead singer?
Of Toast, kind of, yes. Of our little local group here, for the most part, yeah. But for the Intercontinental project and album, I'm one of many vocalists, very talented vocalists who sing on the album. So sometimes I do backing vocals. Sometimes some of the tracks I sing lead vocals on, and I also have a couple of other instruments and other things that I pull out here and there that might make an appearance on future albums.
The mandolin. You need to hear the mandolin, Emily.
I do a little mandolin, little piano. Never know what might come out. So
yeah.
So how long have Toast been a actual band?
Oh, good question. I'm going to turn over to Emily for that one. She has, I joined a little bit later, so.
Yeah, Matt's a new addition to the group, but I think we were probably around 2006. I was 2006 or 7. We've been playing together in, various, places on the spectrum of activeness, but we've been playing together for a long time, and that's another one of the reasons why it's so cool to have the new energy of writing and having new folks involved in the music that we're making together too. So
yeah, tour.
We've just mainly played local stuff in Maryland, so again, that's what, to me, I've been playing music for about 15 or so years, like in an actual band setting, and played in a few bands, usually just local bars and clubs and stuff. Did a couple clubs in DC, but to really have this, just stumble on this project where you know, you're having people all over the world listen to it. You know, Gustavo, the singer of the song in Spanish, you know, he just did an interview for this video cast in Buenos Aires, and they're playing the song, and you just, you know, it's just thrilling to hear something that an idea you came up with in your basement, and it evolves into this song, and then it's, you know, being heard by people that are, you know, in another hemisphere. It's just, you know, it's hard to comprehend for me.
Is this project released or is about to be released?
It is released, so we pushed it out at the end of 2020 because how bad that year was. We felt like we wanted to put a stamp on the end of that one, so in a positive sense. So yeah, it's been out for a bit, but you know, as Emily had mentioned, we're starting to get a little more focus on it and attention, because of, you know, we had the BandLab feature, which came out at the end of January, and a few more interviews like yourself. Thank you so much again. So we're just continuing to get the word out. And of course, all the proceeds will go to the COVID-19 General Relief Fund, which GoFundMe put together. So, you know, we from the get-go, like when we started to realize this was going to become a fully realized album, we didn't want to, you know, take money for this. We just, if we can generate anything, it should go to a good cause. So it just seemed like a no-brainer to do COVID relief, and for the future volumes, we're going to do the same thing. So pick a different charity for volume 2 and try to pay it forward a little bit. So
okay. So tell me this: with this project being with people from all over the world, how does this project separate you from the band Toast and its particular genre?
That's a great question. I think we're still trying to figure that out. Oh, Emily, did you have something?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing is, you know, Toast, as we sit down and we write things together, but I think a lot of it, you know, we thus far have been, you know, we find new twists on covers and things like that. So I think that in terms of, and that's what we really wanted to be, was a local band that, you know, goes and plays out and has fun together.
Genre.
What is Toast genre? Is that your question?
What do you consider its genre?
For our original music, or, I mean, I don't know. I think it ends up being sort of a folk bluesy rock, I would say.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Matt?
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, yeah, we'd like to do some hard rock covers at times, and I think going back to my initial thought on your question, you know, as this project was progressing, we were starting to look back at some of the songs that we do have, and we're like, okay, are there a couple of these that maybe we could kind of work into this project? And Fire was one of them, where it was a song we basically had done. And we're like, well, we're starting to meet these amazing musicians like Nurse from Thailand who plays violin. We're like, this could use some violin. Let's try that out, you know? So it's really neat to have some ideas that were, you know, developed as Toast, but we're kind of finding ways to incorporate other, you know, musicians outside of our little bubble in Maryland.
Okay. So tell me this. I know that this was like, I guess I'm gonna call it a group when you start working with it. So tell me, how do you feel that social media has an impact on the Intercontinental project that you're doing? Do you think that it makes it easier? Is the networking better? Do it have any drawbacks on it? I mean, I know everything can be good. Of course, the benefits can always outweigh. But how is social media important or a hindrance in this particular project with it being from all over the world?
Good question. So for this project, when we're putting it together, BandLab within the application itself, it has like chat features and there's different boards and ways to promote your record. So for us, I mean, as we were kind of working through it, we really used a lot of the messaging capabilities internally within the application, and we didn't really get into the social media external side of it until the last month or two when we're promoting it. So I'm a little bit of an older guy compared to some of the users of Instagram and Twitter and things. So I'm still kind of so I'm still learning this how to promote in those platforms, and it's tricky.
Well, I do want to say this.
Yeah.
Make sure, because now when you register with Harry Fox, you will get invitations to have direct publishing with different platforms. And
Okay.
Actually, Facebook was one of them where you can get direct publishing with Facebook. So when you go through the Creator Studio and you post your stuff to Facebook, that you can also monetize on it.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you so much for the tip. But it is interesting when you're trying to figure out how to target certain audiences. And, we were talking about that a little bit earlier about how to promote your songs and trying to find the right avenues for that. So, we're still kind of learning now. Like, well, I'll send a song out to somebody and it's not clicking. It's like, well, this isn't exactly what I was looking for. So, it's certainly a learning process for me. Emily, did you have any other thoughts on that?
No, I mean, definitely the social media from the promo side is the most, the biggest place where we see the impact. I would imagine, like most other music and most other albums, most other bands, that's where you really see it. I do think that the other thing that just sort of tangentially is that BandLab is, a social media platform, a social platform in itself, in addition to, like Matt was talking about, it being sort of the Match.com of the music world. I think that the whole interface, in addition to having all of this capacity for editing and for recording, it also has that networking aspect. So it's that I think, just like the interface and the way that people are used to interacting with social media and with technology, that I'm sure helped form the user experience of BandLab, which was really integral in helping us, or helping Matt, I should say. Really, he's been like so much the driving force behind all of this. We're all kind of lending our talents, but his energy has been the main driving force here. Sorry?
I think this is a great resource because I interview a lot of producers and I'm listening to how it's structured and everything. I think it would be a great resource for other people. So I appreciate you for coming on and even plugging BandLab the way you have. I mean, because it can help some other people.
Yeah.
They're not paying us, but the same thing that with Gustavo, who did the other interview, I was noticing like, wow, he's really plugging BandLab. But now I'm hearing myself like,
what does every artist need? Press, 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 and more press. Music reviews, interviews, blog articles, press releases, the Blonde Intelligence video show, the Blonde Intelligence podcast, the Blonde Intelligence blog, Blonde Intelligence music reviews. Available on Pandora, Amazon Music, Apple, YouTube, and more. Social media blasts, build your EPK, expand your fan base, links to your press. For more information, visit blonde-intelligence.com.
oh yeah, this platform is really cool. It really made this.
So, I mean, if people can see how happy you are with the results, they're going to be like, hey, let me do this. And then BandLab find out, hey, people are coming because of you. Hey, you be like, BandLab, I refer people, give me a discount. Hey, mission fee. Make some money.
Right. And that, yeah, just to add on to what Emily was saying, it's funny. Yeah, we're not getting paid. We didn't tell BandLab we're doing, all these interviews or anything, but we're just so excited about, even if we didn't do this record and it was just our band, continuing to work on stuff, it would have been, and my cat's trying to invade our space. It would have been
Again,
just incredible. Yeah, this is the second time, Miss Ronnie, that I've had a cat.
I didn't even see it.
Yep, there you go.
there it is.
There it is. So go figure. But yeah, so
y'all have any future plans, immediate future plans to work on something specifically for Toast? Because I know you talked about the next volumes that you're going to do with this project here. So what are the plans for actually the band Toast?
Great question. So with Intercontinental and just the way that this is starting to grow, me personally, I've been spending a lot of time on that and just trying to maintain the momentum for promoting Volume 1, and then also trying to line things up for Volume 2. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Devin Heritage, who's in the band Volume 1. He's done a lot of marketing and promotion for the record as well. Jamie Miller as well. And so that's kind of been where my head is. But at the same time, I'm really excited to revisit some of the Toast ideas. Like, we still have some songs that were like Home, that I mentioned, that we recorded last year, that I would love to revisit now that we're learning a lot more about recording and that.
Pop little singles out while you still have.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We definitely have several originals that we tend to play, and I think that two things. First of all, this has given us the kind of the know-how and the momentum to try to actually get some of those recorded in good quality recordings of some of those, particularly the originals that Toast has done. And then also, I think that it probably has given us some more momentum, energy to write more. So I think that's where we'll be going the next time. It's definitely a different experience, sitting in your basement or your car or wherever. I actually recorded most of my tracks in the car, believe it or not. And it's a totally different experience doing that, sitting there by yourself, than it is, sitting with, your friends in the basement or wherever you are, and working on things in the late at night. And so that's kind of what I think we'll be able to do more of. We'll see what happens later on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. And Miss Ronnie, if I can add one more point. It's cool with this band that I start to feel like we have musicians on speed dial for songs. So it's like this guy Dale Pearson in the band, he plays saxophone. He's amazing. We have an idea. We're like, hey, let's get him to record something, and we'll send him a message, and 2 hours later there's a saxophone solo on a song. So we have this this just list of people that we can always reach out to.
Well, I thank y'all for coming, and I want you to tell everybody how they can find you, your social media handles, so they can follow you, and anything else that you want them to know about the project. I
know. You should have thought of that a bit more.
Projects for Toast.
Yeah, so for Intercontinental, the website's intercontinental.com. The last T is a 7. And then from there, you can get access to our Instagram and Twitter pages. And, yeah. And then, as for Toast, Emily, I think there's the Facebook page is still up for that, right?
Yeah, it's a Facebook Toast group. But most of our energy recently has been going into Intercontinental, and, Toast has been throwing lots of heart and soul into that. So that's what we would really love people to check out right now, I think.
Yeah, and then there's also a link to the GoFundMe COVID relief fund. So make sure to donate to that. You can donate directly, or you can purchase the album or purchase a couple songs, and the proceeds will go to that as well. So yeah.
Right. Well, y'all heard them. It's Intercontinental and the group Toast. Don't forget to catch us on podcast. You can catch us on the video channel, which is on YouTube and IGTV. Of course, the podcast is on all podcasting platforms, and Blind Intelligence has 2 new partnerships with Apple partnerships and with Behind the Scenes Magazine. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right, bye. Advertise with Blonde Intelligence, where our listeners experience exquisite cranial repertoire. Blonde Intelligence is a new podcast and video channel featuring entertainment, musical artists, producers, entrepreneurs, as well as discussions on social topics, making the Blonde Intelligence platform suitable for a wide variety of product ad types. Video, Instagram TV, YouTube, and links shared to all Blonde Intelligence social media pages and select group networking platforms. This creates a collective base of over 50,000 potential sets of eyes on your product or service. Each sponsored ad will feature on both the podcast and video platforms. Sponsors have the choice of either a voice ad or audio-video ad, with 3 options for placements. Create a win-win business partnership by advertising with Blonde Intelligence.